Well, I have in front of me a pile of books that I'm currently reading. I imagine you have one just like this, or maybe larger. So, what happens when you need to travel? Well, travel's one of those peaceful times when reading can really happen. Or what if you're at a doctor's appointment waiting and you find you have the time or want to read? You have to have your books handy, right? That's where this episode is going to help you as we talk about reading books online. Stay tuned. Well, this is Tech Tips for Seniors, a show with tips for seniors, or anyone really, on how to better use technology such as smartphones and computers in your daily lives. And I'm your host, Bruce Ciotta. Well, I love the feel of books in my hands, turning the pages, marking important sections I want to go back to, but there are some times and places where books aren't practical, like lugging around a large text. I have one right here that I've been reading on Charles Lindbergh. It's a giant text. Or when sitting in a doctor's office waiting. So digital books have been around since 1971 with something originally called Project Gutenberg. But later in the 1980s, books advanced online with the PDF format. So that stands for Portable Document Format. And this episode will show how to read using your computer or your smartphone or a Kindle. There are many options for reading, so I'm going to break this episode up into sections so that you can watch those that are most helpful for you. First, we're going to talk about devices. Though there are many ways to read a digital book. Which you choose depends on your personal reading preference. So Kindle, for example, was first. Amazon was out there first to get their digital books into the hands of readers. Did you know they actually started as an online bookstore? The Kindle's a very handy way to read, and here's why. It keeps your place for you. You can bookmark and highlight things, and there are multiple versions of the Kindle device, either a Paperwhite or Fire, or what they call the new Scribe. So you can even get the Kindle app and put it right on your phone or tablet. So if you want to read on a smartphone or an iPad, it's virtually the same as on a Kindle. In fact, the app works in harmony with the Kindle. So it remembers the last place that you've been to, and all you have to do is download the app to your device and then sign into the same account, and device picks up your current reading material. Okay, so let's say you want to read on your computer. Well, same thing. There's a Kindle app for Mac, also for Windows. And again, it works together with all the other Kindle apps and products so that you can keep reading wherever you are, right where you left off. So before we leave the Kindle topic, you don't need to own a Kindle to read books. In fact, you don't need to use a Kindle version of books at all. However, it's an extremely convenient way to read, not the cheapest, but very functional and transportable. Other options include borrowing ebooks from the library, finding ebooks and PDFs to download, and you can get something just for free. There are pros and cons to each method. We'll discuss some of these later. Okay, so the next option is buying digital books, so ebooks. Just to talk about that a little further. So now we get to the more interesting part, how to get books to read. So if you use a Kindle, you can get your books straight from Amazon. They often offer a Kindle version right in the same place where the paper version is found. So buying one is simple, and getting it on your device or in your app is even easier. Just make the purchase and make the choice from the purchase screen where you want the book to be delivered. So Amazon has a place for all the registered devices, and this includes apps that you have in your Amazon account. So you just pick one and it'll be there the next time you open the device or app. Super simple. Okay, so part 3 is borrowing digital books. Like you can use Libby or something called Hoopla. But let's say you're cheap, like I am, and you don't like spending money for every book you want to read. So this is where your local library comes in. There are a few apps that pertain here, and I mentioned Libby. This app is pretty much everywhere now, and most libraries use it to distribute digital versions of their books. You download the app and register it to your library account. Then you search for the title you want to read. There are often both audio and ebook versions available. If you choose it, you can deliver it directly to your Kindle device or app, or take it in a form that you can read in your computer browser, but you will likely have to deal with a wait list. So no big deal if you're cheap, because you're willing to wait, right? So go ahead, put yourself on the wait list, and when it comes in, Libby will notify you and give you a few days to get it, even if you choose to push yourself back on the wait list if you're already in the middle of something good. So if you want it, just check out, and you will, as you expect with a library book, have a limited time to read it before you have to return it. Sometimes you can renew also, so check out Libby. It's worth trying. Now, Hoopla. For example, now let's say you don't like wait lists, which I don't. So here's another option. Hoopla's another library-linked app, and it carries some of the same titles, but often many other titles that Libby doesn't, such as self-help books and documentaries. And in Hoopla, there's never a wait. The difference is here you have to read or listen, more about listening in the coming section, but you have to listen to the book or read the book right in the Hoopla app. So that's one more option for you. Okay, the next section, I really can't talk about reading books without talking about one of my favorite things to read, which is the Bible. Now, did you know that the Bible is the #1 best-selling book of all time? It's so easy to read online, too. So there are many, many apps to choose from. Most are completely free to use. One of my favorite and the most popular for Bible reading is called YouVersion, Y-O-U version. Again, you just download the app to your phone or tablet, click on the tab marked Bible, and pick a book of the Bible to read. Now, the Bible's a collection of books, 66 in all, that were written over 1,500 years. I recommend reading from the New Testament, and specifically one of the Gospels, the biographies of Jesus' life. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You can even, now get this, click on the arrow at the center bottom of the page, and a recording, a dramatic presentation, will start playing. So you can choose a version of the Bible, make notes, highlight in different colors, and the list goes on and on. Try it and let me know what you think. So number 5, listening to books using Audible. Since we've already talked about listening to books, I might as well fill you in on the info. If you're not a reader, you can instead listen to books. And you do this through Audible or another service, such as Spotify or Apple Books. Now, these are subscription services that you'll have to pay for on a monthly or annual basis, but they are real handy for non-readers. If you're cheap like me, don't forget that you can get audiobooks from Libby or Hoopla, and there's also Project Gutenberg audiobooks that are free classics. Now, realize that if you go this route, you'll find it more restrictive, meaning you'll need to listen to it in your browser, and you won't be able to keep your place if you need to leave in the middle, but the option is available. Okay, the next section I want to talk about is Goodreads. Well, really, there's no discussion about books or reading that is complete with at least mentioning Goodreads. It's sort of the encyclopedia for all books, where you can find out not only a good description of what the book is about, but also what the reading community thinks of it. This is a service that's free, and once you establish an account, either on the web or download the app, you can start marking books that you want to read, and then add your own reviews and ratings once you've read them. It's great, too, if you want to connect to your own community, whether it's family or friends, and see what they're reading and what they thought of it, or even follow authors that you like. So there you have it. Everything you may need to know to get organized with reading books online. Let me know if I missed anything you need to hear about. I hope this answers your question and just generally reduces the stress you feel about this whole topic. Well, thanks for joining me for Tech Tips for Seniors. If you found this episode helpful, please be sure to share it with a friend and leave me a review online. If you've done that already, thank you. And be sure to stay tuned for our next episode of Tech Tips for Seniors, or anyone really. Take care.